Hello there, I'm Jerry Mugu Emmanuel and welcome to State Affairs on Inferno TV. Well, with governance being at possibly its highest period of test in the Federation for the past years, a vivid and clear understanding of government and its dealings is at its most needed moment and period. Well, on the first episode of State Affairs today is the Executive Governor of Taraba State, who is our guest, Architect Darius Dickson Ishaku. Your Excellency, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much indeed.
Well, Your Excellency, next month would make it exactly 6 years since you came into office as the Executive Governor of Taraba State, and 2 years since the commencement of the second term in office. It's been a mix of emotions and feelings, happiness, joy, and possibly an uproar. How has the journey been for you so far?
Thank you very much, Inferno TV, for coming. The journey so far has been hectic, tough, and difficult. And in all of it, we have weathered the storm for 6 years. I would say it's the most challenging job I've ever had in my life. The good thing is that the successes overwhelm the challenges. And that is what I'm happy about.
Would you say there's a clear disparity or difference from the challenges of your first term in office and that of your second term in office so far?
Yes, the challenges are not much. They are virtually the same challenges. Some have reduced, some have increased. In the first tenure, it was a lack of peace. I always tell the people that they should give me peace and I will give them development. Yeah? Because it's the peace that I lack. But the development, I know how to go about it. And we have been doing it. But if you have development, then there is no peace. They will still destroy it anyway. Absolutely. Because it will be a useless exercise in futility. Absolutely. But the first year is most difficult because there are a lot of things we had to study, learn the ropes, take the decisions, and that had helped us to be able to take faster decisions on the second route, because then we're able to have some data, have confidence level in some areas, and so forth. But it's virtually the same. The insecurity is still there. In some places, it's getting worse. As we solve in the problem in A, it emanates in B. As you solve in B, it emanates in C. So it's just like going around the circle. And for obvious reason, because the powers that be are not listening to advices.
Well, just last week, I believe, you had a meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff, General Loki Irabo, and you just made mention of insecurity. And so far, virtually, how would you say insecurity has affected the success of your government in Taraba State?
Yes, I had a meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff, General Leo. It was a very successful meeting. I was very impressed and happy with the turnout. And he made commitments. I believe him. Now, the success story depends on largely on the military and police. Sometimes too, I have my sympathy for them because the federal government must equip these forces adequately. The police and the army. In fact, the police should be equipped far more because as a governor, my function should end with the police. The military should be in war. But in this instance, the police is overwhelmed. The police doesn't have the wherewithal. And so the military has to move in. And both of them are trained differently. One is trained for war, one is trained for peace. And so by the time you call the military, yes, they solve the problem, sometimes not exactly how you want, but that is their training.
Well, on an upscale side, Your Excellency, well, Taraba State is most especially known, particularly to everyone, as a very blessed state. Resources and tourist sites and everything. And you particularly has been heard in so many public spaces, talking about the fact that Taraba State will be able to feed the whole nation and outside the country. What has been the what's it called, the intentionality of your government in enabling the reality of such possibility of Taraba State feeding the nation and then beyond?
Taraba State is overblessed. Taraba State is the nature's gift to the nation. And I always add indeed. Taraba State is indeed the nature's gift to the nation. We're blessed in agriculture, we're blessed in mining, minerals, and we're blessed in tourism. If you ask me, the last one even has the largest potential. Tourism is the one that can give even far more money than all the others, but it's the most difficult to tap because connectivity. You don't go for tourism where there is war.
Yeah.
You don't go for tourism where you'll be kidnapped. You don't go to tourism so that you'll be killed. So put that aside. You are left with agriculture and mining. Mining is cumbersome. Why? Because the laws makes mining exclusively the right of the federal government. But here is a snag. The state has the land. The federal government has the mineral below it. How do you assess the mineral below? You go what? How do you do? You go over the land.
Yeah.
The land, the right of the land resides with the governors.
Yeah.
And so this is where the difficulty comes.
in.
And this is where the implementation becomes difficult. I have a case here. Somebody had his CFO since the 1970s. And somebody was given a license to mine. He just comes from Abuja and then put his rig and started mining. I got him arrested. He was on the land illegally. I have tried, have made observations, have even suggestions. The Minister of Mining was with me here some years back. I suggested to him that we have to have a way that the state and the federal government must have an understanding. Yeah. For example, you devise a way that somebody who is given a license is made known prior to the state government. Yeah. And the state government can advise you, no, don't give a license. That place is built up. Oh, okay, you're given a license, this is what you do. There must be a kind of collaboration for it to be successful.
Well, you made mention of the fact that insecurity particularly has affected tourism.
Yes.
And then, of course, as we know, it has affected agriculture. It has
but I have not answered the agriculture which you asked about.
Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned three things.
Yes, tourism.
Tourism, no-go area, security.
Yeah.
Mining, cumbersome. And agriculture, that is the one I'm laying most of my emphasis, because without agriculture, the peasants can't feed themselves.
Definitely.
And we have more than enough to supply the whole country. For example, rice. I can supply Nigeria with rice. And the $8 billion that is used to import rice, we will wipe up. That is the way with that. Taraba is well dredged with 5, 6 beautiful rivers. They have beautiful Fadama lands. If you go to my farm in Bantaji, you will not see the end of Fadama. These are places that we can, if well harnessed. Yeah. In 2017, and just during the dry season, I empowered over 17,000 farmers in Karim Lamido. 10 of them bought brand new tractor Magafakasi after one season. They're still there. They're still doing well. Definitely. But we need to emphasize more on farming. For over 4 years now, I've been given free seedlings of rice, free seedlings of soya beans, free seedlings of Beni seeds.
To farmers?
To farmers, all across the state. And some are very happy. On the last time Ifad came here, one said the 10 kg we gave him, he produced 89 bags of rice. That was a sweet story to my ears. But we need a lot more. I was in Czech Republic. I got them. They manufactured over 1,000 tractors, and for me, for the last 2 years, I can't get it in. because of the difficulty in clearance. Having to get a loan, having to get the loan certified, and all the going up and down with the federal ministries. And you need to encourage the farmers too with fertilizers, clearing of land. But now we have compounded problems. Security.
Definitely.
For this month alone, I can tell you over 20 people have been killed in their farm. So how do you go to farm when you are going to die?
No way. It's such a pathetic state. And then one question which is very, very essential, because you are possibly one of the governors that has been somewhat seen to be, so to say, controversial, because you made public statements in regards to security particularly, and on how your citizens, Tarabans and nationals should protect themselves. What do you have to say about such perceptions of you?
I'm not controversial. If you say I'm unique, I'll agree with you. I speak truth to power. I say what it is, I don't code it. I tell you the truth. And I have been consistent. Right from word go, we enacted law to ban open grazing. I said it cannot work. And a lot of people criticized it. I said that no. People should, how do you in the modern times say that you will allow open grazing? They said that we should allow cattle routes. The villa itself is sitting on the cattle route. Will you demolish the villa so that to allow cattle to pass there? In the 60s, we are less than 50 million. Now, we are over 200 million. The land is constant, mark you.
Definitely.
The size of the land doesn't increase. But we are multiplying. And I hear that by 2050, Nigeria will be 444 million.
Population.
Will you still be roaming about your cattle? It's impossible. And for us in Taraba, ranching is not the news. We've been doing ranching since in the 50s. And in the plateau, in the Mambila plateau, all the cattle are in ranches. And their beef is the sweetest beef in this country. And they produce the fattest cattle in this country. Why? Because they're in one place, they are feeding, and they are being taken care of. And most of all, there is not a supply there. So they don't go ill. We have veterinary people going around to check them. And in any case, let me tell you, believe you me, socially and economically, ranching is the best thing for the cattle rearers. The trouble they go through, the trauma they go through, the cattle, those that are roaming, it's unbelievable. I've met several of them. Some got killed because cattle rustlers killed them to take their cattle. Some snakes bite. Some their wife deliver in the bush in the thick of the night. So many things happen. But if you domesticate them, then all these problems will be taken care of. Even their children can go to school and get education.
Well, Your Excellency, you made mention of ranching. Sorry to ask, has Taraba State government particularly given a particular location for any headman per se who is interested in the ranching idea? Has the Taraba State government made available a land for such?
We are made available for a land, and even asked for the loan. For 4 years ago, it was only approved end of last year. So finances was holding us back. We're trying to see the best we can do. And you know, our tenure is just slightly over 2 years. So we're trying to do the best. Because we wanted it 4 years ago when we were doing the law, so we can teach people to know how they can benefit even far more from the ranching than open grazing.
Well, you just talked about it, and in reality, your tenure is getting towards its end. And then how do you see, or do you still feel the rescue mandate or agenda of your government is still a possibility or a reality?
You see, the rescue agenda, which I started with was something that I evolved during my campaign in 2014-15. And there are things I saw physically with my eyes on the site. I met children under trees, they were teaching them. I told my photographer, take a picture. I saw children, women struggling with pigs to take turns to fetch water. I said, take the picture. And at a point he was asking me, what are you going to do with these pictures? I said, when I become governor, I will put it in my commissioner's office. And he laughed. He said, how do you know you'll be a governor? I said, I'm going to be. I'm confident I will be. And so what I'm telling you is, those pictures, I wanted it to remind me that I made a promise to our people. Education, we're #1 in the north in terms of WAEC, and this for over 3 years, getting to 4 now. Go to our schools and you will see the change. We are far below 20% when I came here. We graduated to 46% to 60-something% to 70-something. I told them my pass mark is always above 75, not less. We are now 84%, 80.6%. And we are still going. I won't rest until I am above 90. Then I will know that yes, I have achieved. That my pass mark starts from 75. Go ask anybody. And then in water, I saw people and pigs struggling for water. I knew there was a need for water. We've had more than 100 boreholes in towns and villages. They are available. They are in the books. They can see. We are showing them. My best picture, I will show you after the interview, is where children, mothers and babies, grandmother, grandfather, they were all celebrating borehole in their town. That is the best picture. I'm looking for the guy to give him an award that expresses their feelings.
That sounds like a delightful
So
experience.
I solve problems that are existing or had been existing. I remove them. You get water anywhere you go around Taraba. Health. I met a hopeless health system. I have virtually 168 wards, almost 150-something. We've built PHCN, primary health centers in there. I've built 3 hospitals, well equipped. I've commissioned one. The remaining 2, I'm commissioning them next month. And I'll start the route of the second one. So, physical problems are so on ground. I am liquidating those problems. And it is there for people to see. I'm putting a 5 million liter water tank in Jalingo. So that up to 2030, you don't have a problem of water in this state. I met in this, my government house, they were supplying me water with truck. I have stopped it. I sank pipes that are almost 7 feet deep across this town. So water will be a thing of past. The tower is an aesthetical beauty. It carried 3 restaurants at 15 floors. You will think it's restaurant. It's water above that restaurant. We decided to use the space below it. To bring tourism, bring people. When I get big men coming to the state, I will pass there, give them dinner before taking them to the airport. We add beauty to the city. We add function. We provide water. All using one thing and killing 3 birds with it.
I guess that's fair to have earned you the nickname per se, the Waterman. Well, but
I won the Waterman of the Year some years back.
Absolutely. What should Tarabans expect from your government as it's getting towards its end? The government has been a never-ending.
The Tarabans are still expecting a lot more, and not only that, I myself, I set a target, and I have not exhausted the target. There are a lot of things I'm yet to do. In agriculture, I want to perfect, I had it in mind to perfect 3 products of wool. Rice, #1. And I'm happy that most of the companies, particularly in the north here, they pick their rice from Taraba. I want to perfect Benny seed production. We're working hard on it. I want to perfect soya beans production. We're working hard on it. Of course, tea. Highland tea is now a name anywhere you go. We're trying to replace the imported tea now.
Yeah.
And anybody who have tested Highland tea doesn't want to change it again. And that was a serious work we did there. I still did very, very serious work to bring it to fruition. It was packed up. It wasn't functional, but we are doing it. We also, I wanted to go into coffee, but the time I have is short. I will put down what it takes for development of coffee. Palm oil is also another we are going into. We have started. We have tom oil, Taraba oil, which we are selling. Unfortunately, women like it so much. It means that the taste must be unique. These are things that are in the pipeline. I'm still hoping that if I lay down the foundations, which I'm already laying, anybody who God appoints will follow from where I've stopped.
Well, Your Excellency, you spoke on, of course, what you are well known for, the water project, and then, of course, the health sector. One sector of your government, which I have seen your intentionality in, is the educational sector, because in your first term you had one commissioner for education, and now there are two, that of tertiary education and then basic, which seems and feels like you are being intentional and there's a sort of passion for your government towards education. What has been the success story of your government in the educational sector so far?
I have mentioned earlier the one in secondary level. Let me go to the university. Well, our university was 100 and almost 90 below the ladder in terms of if you are stacking the best universities. Now we're about 80, I understand 84 or 5. You can see the change, astronomical change.
Halfway.
From 100, no, it has passed halfway. 100, almost 90 to 80 something. It's gone beyond half.
Beyond half.
Now, the student population has increased.
Definitely.
3 professors as against over 70 now in the university. So, I had to break the education into 2 because I want the fellow handling the basic education and to stay focused. You need the product for the university. And if the students aren't passing their WAEC, they can't be getting into university. Or you're getting raw people into the university. And I also need to consolidate the university. So I broke it. And higher education. College of Education has been improved dramatically. College of Agriculture, all of them. So this has helped us to train better students, and they are absorbing these students into these tertiary institutions.
Well, as explained by you, I seem to have been making efforts, but then one thing in Nigeria, nationally, is not just in Taraba State, that is more or less becoming a normal, which I would say the new normal, is strike. Literally or virtually every sector of the nation is striking for one reason or the other. Payment of salaries, gratuities, pensions, and things like that. What do you have to say about this new reality?
You see, I will advise the level leaders. Strike for the name of strike, for just being volatile, for just being aggressive. To me, it doesn't make sense. I have occupied a ministry in federal government. I will say proudly that we reduced people when I was in power during privatization. You see, labor union leaders should face what will help their union. When government is in difficult times or impossible times, you should be able to negotiate what is reasonable. Like Taraba, as I speak to you now, since I resumed here, everybody has been paid. Every 25th, 27th of the month. Before the month is started, I have paid the salaries. So if a labor leader now comes and said, I should quadruple the salary, then the only alternative for me is to reduce them, quadruple it. So that I can afford, I can increase your salary, but I will reduce you. But mark you, Taraba is a civil service state. We don't produce anything. We don't get any taxes from anything. If I don't pay salary, all the families will be quiet. The woman who sell akara before my office, has my telephone number. When it's 30, 31st, you ring me. Oga, they have not paid people because I'm not seeing people coming.
Patronage, yeah.
I will say, yes, we have delay in our check, but they will soon come by tomorrow next. Everybody in this state depends somehow on the civil servant because our production level is very, very low. And that is what I'm trying to show up. I'm increasing it by agriculture. They are improving. Do you know the richest community in this state? Can you guess?
I guess the one you love the most, maybe Sardana.
That is it.
Plateau.
Taraba in Kakara. This is the richest community. They plug their tea, they send it to the factory. Every week, they go and collect their money. They waste, they mix it with maize, they grind it, they have 24 hours for light. They put it for chickens, they rear chickens, they sell eggs. So, I'm improving. But it takes time before you perfect it.
Your Excellency, you just said you've been up to date in the payment of salaries.
I am.
Yes. What would you say in regards to possibly rumors of non-payment of local government salaries for the past 6 months?
You see, we were paying salary smoothly with no problem until this order 10 came. And NFIU insisted that they must be paid, all money must go to local government. That is where the headache comes. So they bundle the money, they give it to local government. And when it gets to the local government, you don't have a control. So it could be possible. And it is. Because the money goes to them, they have to pay teachers, they have to pay. So sometimes when they argue this, I said, no, we have disbursed all the funds we have with us.
For payments.
Payments. But there are problems I discovered from the local government to their beneficiaries.
As the people in charge of the local government sector.
I'm talking about 3,000 teachers. I get 3,000 teachers. From the savings I made from ghost workers, we get 3,000 teachers. But you can't believe it. They went and tampered with these 3,000 teachers and were employing illegally without approval, almost close to 4,000. So the money was not accommodating. They were refusing to pay the real teachers and paying the ones they smuggle in through, is it chua you call it? So they are paying those ones and leaving the other people. Now we're having to now sort out. That's why we suspended payment for 2 months. But I think they have resumed now to do the clearing, to know who are the real teachers and who were the fake ones that are promoted and then being paid, and the real ones were denied. I employed 3,000 teachers from the savings I made from ghost workers. And they helped me in improving the education in the secondary schools.
Absolutely.
Is that a win or not?
It should be a win.
It is a win-win.
Yeah. Well, you just cleared there on why there was a delay in the payment for the rescue teachers as they are.
There was a delay because the people who are manning it increased the number without approval.
But on your social media platform, I think on Twitter, you said that the payment, the finances or funding has been disbursed for the payment of the rescue teachers. Have they been paid so far?
Their money is all there, and I'm sure by now they are all being paid. I told you earlier that I stopped it and said they should review and get us those ghost workers that have entered there. They've cleared it, but their salary is warehoused for them. After the clearing, I'm sure they've paid all of them now.
Then what would you say about the model of gratuity in Taraba State?
Pension gratuity, they are being paid on the first come, first serve. Nobody shut the line. My cousin came and said he wanted to go to bid that. I said, no, go and queue. The reason being, what we have, we get those that we are able to pay them. So with that organized system, people are getting their payments regularly. But the fund depends on the quantum of funds we have.
Yeah.
What the little we are able to save or have, we pay them. So we are gradually saving them as they come and they go. And a lot of people have been expressing happiness.
Well, Your Excellency, imagine, because Taraba State is, as you've clearly stated over and over again, is virtually or basically survives on federal government allocation and a little bit of taxes here and there. Imagine two questions now. 2023 is just around the corner, and then it's already out there. People are asking questions on who would succeed, will come after you, succession. And then if you have anyone in mind, or you think, or you are trying to give out an advice to whoever is going to succeed you, what would be your biggest advice? And then, is there anyone you are grooming for this tasking job so far?
It's only God knows who will take over from me. I'm somebody who believes in God. I didn't know I would be governor.
No.
I'm a governor. I didn't know I would be a minister. I was a minister. I didn't know I would be a lecturer. I was a lecturer. I was a consultant. I was successful. I was happy with. I was content. The next person depends on God, and they are going to. We will do a transparent primaries. Of course, those who are interested, we will tell Tarabians, if they come to ask for advice, based on those who present themselves, we'll be able to advise them. But otherwise, I'm not having somebody and saying this person will succeed me. No. The state should tell who will succeed me.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they will take a wise decision.
Well, getting to your own self, because posters have so far been seen on social media platforms about your possible seeking of the senatorial seat of your region, that's the southern part of the state. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you see, I don't have control over social media.
Absolutely.
If people are putting it up there, suggesting I should be a senator and what have you, I leave it in the hands of God.
Yeah.
When I wanted to be a senator was 2003. God didn't allow me to be a senator. Rather, after about almost 6 years later, or 7, God made me a minister instead.
Yeah.
And after that, God made me a governor. So you're thinking, I leave everything to God.
Yeah.
If God says after that I should be serving and in another capacity, so be it. But I am presently occupied with making sure that I make a success story of running Taraba State for 8 years. I have built the foundation, solid foundation, and we're building the walls. I'm hoping that we will come to the level whereby whoever comes will see the reason that we did what we did and follow through. Government is continuous.
Yeah, definitely.
And if somebody comes and see the merit of what you are doing and he continues, then he too will bring his own ideas. When he leaves, somebody too will come and add it. If that is continuing, then you build one story, somebody build 2 story, another 3 story, and then the people are better off for it.
Definitely. Well, lastly, if I may, on security and IDPs, how would you say Taraba State has coped so far?
We have tried our best under the circumstances on security. We've done the best we can, and we've had a lot of successes. And let me add, I want to thank the security agencies, both the police, the military, the civil defense, and all other paramilitary, road safety and others. They've been very, very helpful, and I appeal to the federal government, whose responsibility it is to be able to fund these organizations properly, the police and the military particularly, for them to save us. The police has to save himself before he saves you and me.
Definitely.
If he doesn't have the equipment to defend himself, how does he defend you and me?
No way.
And so we need to train them properly, we need to equip them properly for them to defend us. The same with the military. If the military doesn't have the wherewithal, I see of cassettes, people who go to fight Boko Haram, saying they are not being well equipped. We need to equip them. And if we equip them, IDPs, we are doing the best we can. We are the most peaceful state within the Northeast, and therefore we are doing the best we can, and we have a lot of them. We are helping them. Some of them have decided to make Taraba their home state now. And we are doing the best we can in terms of feeding, even education.
What would you say about opposition attacking your government so far in Taraba State?
Opposition is natural if you are a politician, but I prefer those who criticize me genuinely. Constructive criticism, that is what I call. When their criticism is constructive. And I like to be criticized.
Definitely. Because
it brings out the best in me. When you don't criticize me, I go to sleep. But when you criticize me, I wake up. If I'm doing something, you say it's not, I say, so I'm building 1 lane road. At this moment, I say it's not good. I'll build 10 lane roads. That is constructive. You criticize me, I wake up. If I think that I employ 3,000 teachers, and somebody criticizes me that I know enough, this and then I say, so 3,000 teachers are not doing the work they should do. How do we get 6,000 teachers? Criticism brings the best out of me. Mark, I'm an architect. Yeah. When you don't criticize me, you don't get the best from me. And we are used to criticism. Any architect, before you graduate your school, you will have been criticized 1 million times over. Otherwise, they won't give you that certificate. So criticism is part and parcel of me. I enjoy it. But when it's a stupid criticism, I don't like it. And somebody will go and link me with somebody else's that was murdered and go and show it and tell bloody lies. I get you locked up and send you to prison. You must be sure of your facts. And we must learn as Nigerians and save our leaders the trouble. Should allow them the time to think better for us. The Bible says pray for a leader. He did not qualify who their leader is. Whoever your leader is, you should pray for him. There is a reason. The Bible should say that. Because if your leader is well, you are well. If your leader is sick, you are sick. Oh. Because he's not well enough to think for you. So you pray always for a leader and save your leader criticisms that are lies just because you want to satisfy your selfish interest. It's wrong. Absolutely wrong. And those who do that, I take them to the ladder. I'll jail 1 person. I'm ready to jail 10 more. But if you criticize me properly, I'll do it. I've had a time to reply somebody who criticized me on these ghost workers. His criticism was that those I sent on field were not doing the correct thing. And because he texted me and phoned me, I kept quiet. I did my due diligence. And I found out he was correct. We corrected it. Then I called her. It was a woman. I said, thank you for criticizing me. Now, you said this fellow and that fellow was not paid. This is the account number. Now, the reason that fellow was not paid, I think it's your husband or whoever, is because he was using 2 SIM cards. The first one was the correct. The second one was wrong. Because of those 2 issues, they stopped the payment. Because it's flashing them that that person is a duper. So your husband has to go back
and link his,
and clear himself. Yeah. These kind of things, I like it because they're helping me to do the job. They're pointing out to do. I can measure 1,001. Some in Texas.
Constructive
criticism.
That is. Well, Your Excellency, it's really a pleasure having you on State Affairs on Inferno, and we're lucky to have you as our first guest so far, and we hope and pray that this will be a sign for good tidings for us and We pray that the people of Taraba really feel the rescue mandate of your government, because I can feel the passion from the way you talk, and we hope and pray for the best for you so far in office and future biddings for you as a person. Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you, and I hope you will grow to be one of the big TV stations.
I hope so.
And but then be truthful.
Definitely.
And be fearless. When someone wants to say the truth, you must be fearless. But make sure it's truth. And if you speak truth to power, it will help us to change. See the other international news televisions. They speak truth to power, and their country are better off. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure.